when we feed ourselves or drink juice, we will absorb some of those nutrients, some of those vitamins, some of those minerals in our intestines. So what can you actually use to fix your DNA? Well, it turns out that green, like broccoli, and they trigger your body to fix its DNA, repair the DNA.
Gut microbiome.
Our microbiome is another one of our health defense systems. It's the healthy gut bacteria inside our body. And when I went to medical school, I was taught by my professors that most bacteria around us and inside us is bad. And that's why we need to bust out our prescription pad for antibiotics to kill those bad bugs. All right. Well, it turns out that the entire textbook about bacteria has been rewritten because most of the bacteria in our body is actually good, healthy bacteria. We don't want to mess with our healthy bacteria because our healthy bacteria, also known as a gut microbiome, is about 39 trillion bacteria that live mostly inside our gut, our intestines. So if you think of our intestines like a big tube, like a garden hose, and you cut that garden hose in half, the bacteria live right in the middle, okay? And when we feed ourselves or drink juice, we will absorb some of those nutrients, some of those vitamins, some of those minerals in our intestines, but everything else goes down to our bacteria. So we're feeding our bacteria as well. I always talk about feeding bacteria like our pets. You got a cat, you got a dog, you got a goldfish, you're mindful that you're feeding them. And that's basically what we do for our gut microbiome. When we feed our gut microbiome and they're happy, they pay us back, those bacteria, by right-sizing our metabolism, by helping our blood sugars get used more efficiently, by helping us heal faster, by making our hair shiny, our skin glow, and by text messaging our brain to release social hormones like oxytocin. So here are bacteria in our gut that we don't see, we don't feel most of the time when they're healthy, that can really do a lot. So having juice and using fiber that's in our juice or from our juice in ways that we can actually consume is actually really good for our gut bacteria. They will thank you for it. If you were to go to a hardware store and get like a paint, a poster with all the different paint colors, and you were to actually write down what food correlates to each paint color, you could actually kind of create your own kind of color scheme for fruits and vegetables for you to juice and actually use the fiber from. That's a kind of great way to keep changing it up so you're interested in what you're doing. You have to do the same thing over and over again. Pomegranates do something different to your gut microbiome because the ruby red seeds of pomegranate, which are used to make juice, contain something called elagitannins. These are natural chemicals. They're so beautiful and they taste great. You can put them into a salad. There's lots of different ways you can do them. But when you juice them, one of the things that is wonderful is to be able to press the juice through the skin. And because there's elagitannins in the skin as well, so you get a lot more. You get like the knockout punch of these elagitannins when you juice with the skin. Now, what does that do? Those elagitannins in your body, when you drink it, first of all, they're also cancer starving. They're also antioxidant. They also lower inflammation. But one of the great things about they do is they stimulate your gut to secrete healthy mucus. And that's normal. It sounds a little gross, but actually our gut likes to likes to make mucus, and the bacteria love to grow in the mucus. The bacteria growing in mucus in our gut is like flowers growing in a flower bed that's been properly fertilized. They sprout, they bloom, they look great, and that's basically what pomegranate juice actually does in our gut. It helps these bacteria grow really well. One of the bacteria grows really well is called Akkermansia. Akkermansia muciniphila, mucin like mucus, and that bacteria is a guardian of our health. It helps our immune system. It helps us fight cancer. It actually it even appears to be able to help make blood sugars good, to be able to help control and prevent diabetes. And so that's a function that a simple juice that's delicious to drink and easy to make, like pomegranate juice, is so valuable.
DNA, genetic code.
Our DNA is always thought of as our genetic code, right? Like it's kind of the blueprint for making proteins, and we need to make proteins in order to stay alive. That's kind of the building blocks of life, okay? But guess what? researchers have shown that of the DNA, by the way, every cell in our body, we've got 40 trillion cells, every cell has DNA in it. The DNA is this double helix. If you've seen Jurassic Park, you know what it looks like. It's kind of like this loop. But did you know that every cell has 6 feet of DNA that's spooled together and tucked into that cell? All right. So that DNA, that 6 feet of DNA, only 3% of it is used to make proteins. The rest of it is kind of a command center to help the body kind of do everything else it needs to do, including protect our DNA. Now, why is protecting our DNA important? Because we don't want our DNA to mutate, right? I mean, unless you really want to be an X-Men, like the fact of the matter is that you want to stay human and you want to stay healthy as a human. And we've got all these things on our planet that actually assault our DNA. Ultraviolet radiation, you go out for a walk, you get ultraviolet radiation. Man, it feels good to be in the sunshine. But our body is hardwired to protect its DNA, so it neutralizes the incoming and fixes any DNA that could get damaged. I always tell people, if you're pumping gas in your car, filling your car with gas, do you stand upwind or downwind? And most people look at me like I asked a crazy question, but I say, if you can smell the fumes, you are smelling solvents that are getting into your lungs and damaging your DNA. So what can you actually use to fix your DNA? Well, it turns out that like broccoli actually has these powerful antioxidants, and they trigger your body to fix its DNA, repair the DNA. It's got fiber in it, which is wonderful. It's got sulforaphanes and isothiocyanates. These are natural chemicals that actually inhibit angiogenesis. They starve cancers as well. And by the way, I want to point out that research we've done actually showed that there's really great stuff in the trees, in the florets, which is what, we're always told to eat the broccoli trees. But in fact, there's twice as much of the good stuff in the stem. So if you're cooking with broccoli florets, which is really great, and you've got extra stems, juice like a broccoli stem shake or soup. You can actually put a little oregano powder in there, and it just changes this. It's got this like amazing, sophisticated flavor. And so this is actually a really important thing. Our body does it already. It fixes it. It's kind of like having, think about like how important DNA is. It is like, if you've ever driven on a highway filled with potholes, like what a pain that is. Like, it's uncomfortable. It damages your car. Like, you don't want your body to be like that. But imagine if our DNA defense is like a road crew that basically is on the road all the time, fixing those potholes when they're just tiny little cracks and just fixing them right up. That's what that green vegetables, that's what fruits do. Kiwis can do that as well. They're remarkable to help our body amplify its DNA repair mechanisms. The whole emphasis is to do things that taste great, that are also good for you. Like, this isn't about kind of like, handcuffing us to doing, acting like robots to do things to foods and drink and eat foods that we don't like. The whole point is to take advantage of what Mother Nature has already offered us and really be able to do some extra things to it to make it taste delicious and easy for us. That's also good for our health.